Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Always ready to explore the latest in AI.
Well, today we're tackling something that's been generating a ton of buzz online. O3-mini. I mean, is it the next big thing or just a lot of hype?
Yeah, it's been hard to miss all the chatter.
Exactly. And that's why we dove into the research, all the articles, user reviews, and benchmark results to get to the bottom of it. So we can give you the real deal on O3-mini, what it's good at, where it falls short, the whole 9 yards.
It sounds like a plan.
So first things first, let's talk about the general vibe around O3 Mini. Like, what's the overall reaction been?
Well, one thing that really jumps out is the excitement around how accessible it is. Like, even folks using the free version of ChatGPT can get their hands on o3-mini.
Oh yeah, I saw that too. It's a big deal because usually these powerful AI tools are locked behind, expensive subscriptions or require serious computing power.
Exactly. So making it available to a wider audience is a huge plus. It's sort of democratizing access to advanced AI, which is pretty cool.
Definitely. But of course, the big question is, does it actually deliver? Like, is the performance there to match all this hype?
Right. And from what we've seen, the reception has been pretty positive, especially when it comes to tasks in STEM fields, particularly coding.
Yeah, the coding stuff was all over the research. I kept seeing mentions of O3 Mini crushing it on some coding benchmark.
Exactly. That's the Codeforces benchmark. It's basically a platform where programmers, go head to head solving coding challenges. And o3-mini got an ELO rating of 2036.
Okay, that 2036 number, I saw that. But honestly, I'm no coding expert. So break it down for me. What does that score actually tell us?
Well, think of it like this. If you were a chess player, that kind of ELO would put you up there with some pretty serious competitors. It means o3-mini is solving these coding problems with a level of accuracy that rivals really skilled human programmers.
Wow, so like building websites, writing complex code, it can handle all that.
Yeah, it seems to have a knack for those kinds of structured, well-defined coding tasks.
That's pretty wild. But then I also saw some stuff suggesting that O3 Mini isn't, the ultimate solution for everything in AI research.
Yeah, that's important to remember. It's a powerful tool, but it has limitations, especially when you get into the more complex, open-ended problems that AI researchers are working on.
What kind of limitations are we talking about here?
Well, for example, o3-mini struggles with things like multi-step processes. Like if you need it to, carry out a series of actions in a specific sequence, it can get tripped up.
Okay, so not great at planning things out step by step.
Not its strongest suit. It also has trouble with using different tools effectively. Like a lot of real-world AI applications require interacting with various software tools, and that's where o3-mini hits a snag.
Interesting. So it's like a super talented coder who can write amazing individual lines of code, but maybe not architect a whole program from scratch.
Kind of, yeah. And on top of that, it doesn't really excel at coming up with innovative solutions, thinking outside the box and beyond its training data.
Right, so it's more about applying what it knows really well, not necessarily discovering new things.
Precisely. And speaking of challenges, we also found a bunch of user reviews that were, shall we say, less than enthusiastic.
Oh yeah, the complaints. I saw some of those too. What were the main gripes?
One thing that popped up repeatedly was this issue of o3-mini hallucinating tool names.
Hallucinating.
Hmm.
What does that even mean in this context?
So basically, it sometimes refers to tools that don't actually exist. Like it'll try to use a function or call upon a software library that's completely made up.
Oh, so kind of like it's making stuff up.
Yeah, exactly. And that can be super frustrating for users because it obviously throws a wrench in the whole process.
I bet. And it's not just inventing tools, right? There are also problems with those API calls.
Right. API calls are essentially how o3-mini interacts with other software programs, but users have reported that it often struggles to get those calls right, which limits its ability to, actually do useful things in the real world.
So even though it can theoretically handle complex stuff, if it can't communicate with other programs, it's kind of stuck.
Pretty much. It highlights the gap between, its theoretical potential and its actual ability to perform in real-world situations.
Okay, so we've talked about the coding prowess, the limitations in research, and the user frustrations. But there's this whole other side of O3 Mini that's, well, kind of mind-blowing.
You're talking about the math exam and those science questions, right?
Exactly. Like scoring 80% on the AMA, that's the American Invitational Mathematics Examination, which is for high school students, but it's not exactly a walk in the park.
No, it's definitely a challenging exam. And then there's the GPQA Diamond benchmark, which is even tougher. Those are science questions that would typically be encountered at the PhD level.
Whoa, PhD level science questions. Okay, you got to break this down for me. What kind of questions are we even talking about here?
Sure. So think of questions that require a really deep understanding of, like, physics, chemistry, or biology. The kind of stuff you'd need a doctorate to even approach. And o3-mini managed to answer a significant portion of those correctly.
That's insane. It's not just crunching numbers, it's demonstrating actual comprehension of those concepts.
Right. It really showcases its ability for advanced reasoning, not just in math, but also in scientific contexts.
So despite its limitations, o3-mini seems to have some serious strengths in these specific areas.
Absolutely. And it's important to note, even when it doesn't get a perfect score, it's still demonstrating a level of understanding that's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, I mean, 80% on that math exam is no joke.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
And this is all while being faster and more cost-effective to run than its predecessors.
Oh yeah, I remember reading about that. So it's not only potentially smarter, but also quicker and cheaper to use.
Exactly. Those are huge advantages, especially for real-world applications where, speed and cost efficiency are
Sure.
critical.
Makes sense. So where does all this leave us? We've covered a lot of ground here. What's the big takeaway? Is o3-mini the future of AI?
Well, I think it's a bit more nuanced than that. o3-mini is definitely a powerful tool with the potential to be a game changer in certain fields.
Especially in areas like coding, where it's already showing impressive results.
Exactly. But it's crucial to be aware of its limitations, especially when considering it for, say, complex AI research.
So not quite ready to take over the world just yet.
Maybe not take over the world, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. And who knows what future iterations might bring. It's a rapidly evolving field, and o3-mini is a testament to how fast things are moving.
It makes you wonder, what will these models be capable of in a few years, right?
Absolutely. And that's what makes this whole field so fascinating. The possibilities seem almost endless.
Totally agree. Well, on that note, I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have, from the highs of those benchmark scores to the lows of user frustrations.
And everything in between. But hey, maybe someday o3-mini will be advanced enough to handle something truly complex, like, I don't know, figure out our taxes.
Huh, wouldn't that be nice?
One can dream, right? But until then, it's back to doing them ourselves. Anyway, thanks for joining us for another deep dive. It's been a fascinating conversation.
Always a pleasure. And until next time, keep exploring the ever-evolving world of AI.
You got it. See you all next time.